Cool. Well, hi, Arlene. Welcome to Diaries of Dyke. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. Can I actually, this is I don't know if this is going to be weird or not, but I'll tell you how I actually came across your Instagram. So I got into a little bit, I got into a little bit of a wormhole on Instagram. And I don't ask me where I first started to get into this wormhole because I can't even remember. But I started watching birthing videos. I know. I don't know how it happened. And I was like, at first I was curious. At first I was like, oh, what is this? And then I saw it. And then I was just really intrigued. And then I was like drawn to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, women are so amazing. Or just people that give birth are so amazing. Yeah. How was this happening? And it was quite graphic. There was a lot happening, not gonna lie. But I learned a lot. And then for some reason I came across your account and I saw it and it said midwife for the LGBT community. And I was like, oh my God. I think I threw my phone and I said to my girlfriend, I was like, oh my gosh, did you know that there's a midwife that specifically does LGBT? I didn't even know that they existed. First off, being a midwife is an amazing thing. Thanks so much. You help bringing life into the world. But then also dedicating it to the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm loving it. And I think from what I know from in Auckland, I'm the only person that is out, visible, queer, doing it just for our community. I don't know of anyone else that is saying that, and it feels great.
Yeah,
it feels amazing.
I have never heard. I've got a few friends that've got babies as well that are queer, but I've never heard of that. Also, you look amazing. You look like a rainbow in your outfit. I appreciate a matching set. And I didn't realize because obviously we've only been texting, but whereabouts are you from?
From the UK. Yeah. So grew up in North Devon and moved here about 2.5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Just got my residency 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Hello. Yeah, very excited about that. And yeah, moved just at a time in my life when I was like, fuck it. Yep. Sure, why not? Let's do it. And so I've been qualified midwife for like 5 years. And I guess last year, especially during the COVID lockdown, there were a few incidents in the hospital which made me very sad. We had like a lot of queer doctors working in obstetrics at that time. They just happened to be like a lot of the house officers, all of them were queer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was wild.
It's great though.
It was great. It was amazing. But there were just a few incidents of like, homophobic, transphobic comments. There was a trans man who was pregnant at the time, and there was just all that, usual BS of like, how can he be having a baby if he's a man? And I was like, you're all shit.
Oh, God. Wait, not obviously not coming from the queer people.
No, from the midwives or the doctors caring for them. And I was like, you're all lame and I hate you all.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and then for a long time was just like, this needs to be better and we need to do better. But I sat really difficultly in like, am I the right person placed to do this? Like, am I like taking space up from someone who might be better placed for it? Is there someone who's actually trans who could do this work, or, a person of color, or, I'm a white cis woman, like, is it me? Should I do it? I don't know. And then for a long time I was like, don't know, it's too hard. Like, the work is too hard, the conversations were too hard, but I was doing it and I was like, fine. And then basically I put out a survey just on Instagram and Facebook and was like, hey, if you're queer, can you answer my survey? And was just like, have you got kids? Do you like want kids? Like, what's your experiences of like being in the healthcare system? Because, what I thought would happen was that they would all be like, no, it was terrible and I had a horrible time, because I think that that's what we kind of know. But I didn't actually have any like information, and there's like really limited research on anyone LGBT having a baby. They're just like, there's some research being done in the UK, but not really anything here. There's just no information. So I was like, oh, hey, fill out this survey, and 80 people replied.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit. No one knows who I am, and they've all spent replied to me. And the overwhelming feedback was that it was really shitty to have a baby when you were queer.
Wow. And why was that? Did you find out why that was?
Yeah, so that's why I've got my bit of paper.
Yeah, I love this, by the way. So prepared. I felt like you should be on this side of the mic. She comes in and she's got this whole like double-sided paper of notes. I'll just sit over here and you just do your thing. Good.
I'm a very type A organized human. So.
Oh, great. I'm not. So here we go.
So like some of the people were saying, so mainly the people who responded were like cis lesbians, but I had quite a few also like trans men who answered, which I thought was amazing, because I think that particularly that part of our community is not like that visible. I think it's more acceptable to be a white cis lesbian than it is
I would
to
say,
be.
I would actually
trans.
say so.
Yeah.
Especially having a baby.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems more like if you're straight passing, it's more acceptable than if you're gender fluid or whatever. So, so they had like a lot of stuff was. The language wasn't inclusive.
Flip the page.
Yeah, the language wasn't inclusive. Actually, a couple of the people who replied, actually their experience was so terrible that it said that they didn't want to have another baby because they were treated so horribly by the midwives and like doctors, and constantly being asked about like, oh, where's your husband? Oh, where's your male partner? Oh, and oh, where's the father? And oh, does the father mind? Referring to the sperm donor who like isn't the father of sure, he donated half of his genetics, but not the dad.
And how is that their business anyway? Is it their business or
no,
how
it's
does
not.
that work?
It's not their business. Like it
what does that got
really
to do with anything?
isn't.
What would be the difference if a single woman, a straight single woman, came in and had a baby? Would they still do the same thing? Like, where is the partner? Where is the male? Like, donor?
I don't know. I think maybe there would be like some inquiry over it. I think like mostly in like a trying to make chat way, like in a what do you do for work? Like, that kind of
who's the
nonsense.
dad?
Yeah. But when it's like over and over again, and you're constantly like having to be like, no, I have a wife, or no, like it's just like so draining emotionally for anyone who's doing that. Let alone when they're having a baby who may have complications and all those sorts of things. Like you have enough going on being pregnant with your hormones flying without having to deal with like constant questioning about where's the man.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want to really talk about either. It's like, we're here for the baby. That's it.
Yeah, totally. So then I was just like, so as part of my survey, I was like, do you think that this service is like even needed? Because I didn't want to do something that was just like, no one gives a shit. And then I was like, well, I'm going to waste my time. And like, basically everyone said yes. And everyone was like, yeah, we would want a queer-friendly midwife. And yeah, we would want a service that was just for us. And so I was like, okay, sure, I'll just bloody do it. So I did.
Exactly. I don't think it matters who it is, really. It's just somebody doing it.
Yeah, totally.
In that space.
So I've made like resources which are all completely gender neutral. They don't talk about mums, dads, women, fathers, any of that nonsense. And like the information isn't anything new. It's just what I know as a midwife. But it's just like for everyone and anyone. And
love that.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Because it's supposed to be that I don't have any children yet, but it's supposed to be the biggest day of your life, like bringing life into this world.
Yeah, totally.
And you want someone to be there that you feel safe and supported. Well, this is what I would want.
Totally.
So have you created a whole like Empower? Is that your business that you've created? Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, so Empower is my business. The midwifery world works slightly differently in New Zealand in terms of we call them LMCs, so lead maternity carers. You have an LMC who is your like midwife, basically. And in New Zealand, they're all self-employed, paid by the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
So it's free for like the person to access care, but we just claim via the Ministry of Health, technically via a business. So you set up your own stuff. I've named mine Empower because I'm all about the body's amazing. And like you watch those videos of like, I'm always like, oh, you guys are... Yes.
I've seen the videos, and I've actually been there for my sister's. My sister gave birth.
Oh, how was that?
Well, very hard to see someone you care about a lot to be in so much pain. But also, wow. Wasn't able to see my nephew being born because she had some complications, had to go down to theatre.
Oh, yeah.
But just wow, you know, and that's why I feel this way, because I'm just like in that room. Because she didn't have a very good experience with her midwife. Yeah. I don't think she would ever hear this, but, I just with that, it's like, wow, you have so much trust in this one person that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So,
totally. And that relationship is like, especially within like healthcare, for 9 months you're pregnant, and then for 6 weeks you see your midwife at home. That's like a really significant portion of time, which is different to any other health professional. How often do you see your GP? Like if you're fit and well, probably not very often, and probably it's always someone different. Like so there's this huge amount of time you're doing this really like amazing life-changing thing. And one thing that I just didn't really like bank on was how much it was needed in terms of like, in that birth environment, you're giving birth and it's super intimate, which I've always known, but it's like super intimate. And if you don't feel like your partner can touch you the way you want to because you might be judged, then that isn't going to be good for your birth. Like, one, you're just not going to labor well because your hormones aren't going to, you're going to be stressed about this person in the room that's maybe looking at you a bit side eye. And I'm just like, yeah, do all the things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, we worry about that in everyday life, you know, walking down the street or whatever. But when you're in a hospital room about to give birth, that's the one place that you feel like you should be able to do whatever you want.
And be safe. And like, one thing that's come out of it, which, because like a lot of it can often feel like initially it was all very negative and I was like, oh, this is terrible. What am I going to do about it? And I didn't feel like there was any like hope almost. And now I'm doing this thing and I have all these amazing people who have uteruses and are pregnant and they're just gorgeous. And they're living their lives authentically. They're in love. It's beautiful. You know, they're just doing it. And I think like for queer people, when they have a baby, it's like, it's such a big and long and often time and money to get there that it isn't just accidentally got pregnant last weekend. It's like a real long journey to get there. And often like it can be quite difficult. And like I have found within myself, like I feel more valid and I have these beautiful queer like role models who are having babies who I didn't have before, and I didn't know I needed it, but now I've got it. I'm just like,
yes.
Woo!
So they need you, but you also need them in a way.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that I did need that, but I think we all do. Like, you know, we need beautiful queer birth stories and families to just be like, yeah, this is amazing. And
do they, because obviously they share the stories with you. I don't know if you're allowed to share this. I don't know if it's patient confidentiality or what, but do they tell you like how they get pregnant and like what is the majority of the way? Because like I'm in a situation now where I'm trying to like, no, you know, I want a baby soon. How do you do it? Like,
and in New Zealand it's really well, one, it's expensive, and two, time consuming, and you also have to go through ethics. Like you have to go through an ethics committee to say that you're like okay to have a baby. I'm sorry, what hetero person has to do that?
Well, because I had a lesbian couple of my friends on season 1 of Diaries of a Dyke, and they had to go through like counselling sessions to make sure that they were mentally okay to go forward with the process of having a baby.
Totally, it's wild, and I'm just like, why is there like someone gatekeeping the like? So yeah, it can be super expensive. So most of them have like, and even like people on my survey, that was one of the things I asked, like, how did you get pregnant, or how did you like end up having a family? And many were IVF, but also many were like IUI at home. So basically like self-insemination.
Yeah, that's to be honest,
they get their sperm donor.
I'm leaning on that way. Yeah. I'm like, you know, looking at my options, and I'm like, jot down that. It'll be good for us.
What? Well, yeah.
Save 60 grand, and you know, going through all that. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and I think that is one of the other things is that recently. So at the moment, I've got about 12 queer families, and I have a polyamorous family as well, which is really cool.
Can you explain what that is?
Polyamorous.
We haven't touched on this yet on the podcast.
So basically anyone that isn't in a monogamous relationship might be poly. So they may, I mean, there's so many different aspects of polyamory, but this particular family I'm looking after are a closed poly, so they're basically a throuple. But some people may have a like one main partner and then have like poly partners. Is
it one woman, two women? Are you allowed to say that, or is it
the people I'm currently caring for? It's
or a trans?
No, so it's male and 2 females.
Okay, and one of them's pregnant.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, because there's 2 women. Like, is it kind of like, oh, whatever one gets pregnant, that's the one who gets pregnant?
Yeah, I don't know how this particular family came to be, but I'm sure I'll find out.
Yeah. Because that intrigues me as well. Because you know, like I'm not opposed to thruples. Like I'm not opposed to it at all. I'm very open-minded. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it personally, but I mean,
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, you know, like, but yeah, I always wonder that. I'm always just like, how would that work? You know, like, because obviously, I would think that they would be having sexual intercourse all together.
Yeah.
And then it's just like kind of like whoever gets the jackpot, like, you know, or whoever's egg is the most ripest or whatever it is. I don't know how that works.
I think like as well, like I have quite a lot of like lesbian couples, and often like, for example, like a couple that gave birth like a few months ago, one of them was adamant. It was like, I'm never going to be pregnant. Like, I do not want to do that. I do not want to give birth. And like the other one was like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then, you know, whilst the, you know, pregnant person was like, you know, going through it, and I asked her partner, I was like, oh, like, how do you feel? Do you think maybe you would want to be pregnant now? And they're like, yeah, maybe. And then during the birth, she turns to me and she goes, shit, never gonna do this again. And I was like, absolutely out. You have the next one too. I'm not doing it.
I feel like that's what mums say, like the mums say as well when they're giving birth. They're like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
My mum said that. She was like, when she had me, she was like, I'm never doing that again. And then she got pregnant again and did it again. So I guess it's
and
always,
we always do.
Yeah, exactly. How does do you work with many gay men who have like a surrogate?
Yeah, so I've got one couple that I'm working with at the moment. Their surrogate lives up north. So I'm not involved in their surrogate's pregnancy, but I will be in, like, when they come home to Auckland, then I'll look after them postnatally.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which is kind of nice. But even I think for gay men, it's really difficult.
Like, because how do they be
find
involved?
someone to donate their uterus? Like, full on.
And then how do they?
You have to adopt the baby.
Yeah, because I follow Love from Your Dads.
Yeah.
Is that who it is?
Of course we do. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, Love from Your Dads, and then obviously I'm following their surrogate journey as well. And the whole adoption thing of them having to adopt their first child. And I'm just like, well, it's not even their child until they actually legally adopt him. But
totally.
But it's their sperm.
Yeah,
It's
totally. And they've also paid for all of the... Because in New Zealand, you're not legally allowed to pay someone to be your surrogate. So there can't be any like financial benefit to the person with the uterus who's doing it. But you then have to pay for obviously all the IVF and the medical bills and all those sorts of things. So... yeah, it's quite wild. And there have been, unfortunately, some stories of like surrogates who are just like, nah, I'm going to keep the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And they
so
legally
scary.
have have the right.
That's scary, isn't it?
Really scary.
So what would happen in the birthing suite when the surrogate, like, would the two dads be allowed to come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So generally in the birthing room, like anyone who that pregnant person wants in there, they can be in there. As many as they want, especially with like Māori and Pacifica families.
Yeah,
they have like huge whānau.
How's them? Do you deal with many of them?
I haven't got any actually.
Oh, really?
But I think because I was talking to a friend about it recently, and I think from my understanding is that people in that community don't feel like it's accessible to them.
Yep.
They don't feel like it's accessible or that it's ever in their future to have babies because it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
And stigma and all those sorts of things, you know, so which is really sad.
Religion and just things that come with it as well.
All of those things. Yeah.
Understand that. Wow. Okay. What's the most craziest birthing story that you can share with us? Because, like I said, I've only seen the videos. My friend, or this girl that I actually read her birthing story the other day, she said her whole pelvis broke when she was giving birth.
Oh shit!
I know.
That's
I was like, oh god, jeez, is this like true? Like,
I think that's like uncommon. I don't think that happens very frequently. I don't know. Crazy birthing stories.
Yeah. Like how many babies have you delivered?
Hundreds, I'd say. Hundreds.
Can I ask something? How old are you?
27.
Yeah, I was like, you're very young, but you're very wise, and you've got a lot of life experience. You know, like
I feel like being a midwife and like doing my degree, honestly, aged me about 10 years. In like a good way. In like I'm just exposed to all of these different people all of the time, and like so many of my like previous like life views were just like, oh no, that's definitely wrong, you know, like because you just, and like when people are pregnant, they just like tell you the weirdest shit, you know, and they're just like, oh yeah, like I remember when I was a student, I was working with my mentor, and this midwife was basically asking this woman like if she'd had a urine infection because she had something in her wee and blah blah, and the woman was just like, oh no, we don't double dip. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And my midwife was like, sorry? And the woman was just like, oh, you know, after he's put it in my bum, don't let him put it in my... And I was just like, holy, okay. Wow. I was like, I've never met you before, but great, good. Yeah.
Well, you've come to the right podcast because we definitely share a lot of stories here. But that's amazing about your midwifery journey. But really quick before we wrap it up, tell us a little bit about, I've done it backwards because I was just so intrigued to get into the whole midwifery thing. But growing up as a queer woman, like when did you where did you grow up? How did you know? When did you know that you were queer?
So grew up in North Devon, in this like really tiny, like I guess like seaside town near the beach, with my parents and an older brother, and I think now when I look back on it, I've known I was queer since I was really young. And like I remember coming across a diary when I was like 10 and I'd written in there, I think I fancy women. That was the only entry. And I was like age 10, yeah. But was very, my mum's very religious. My parents are from South Africa. And was always just like aware that it wasn't okay to be like gay. So like never even like considered it. But, you know, classically would always get with girls when I went on a night out and then like all these sorts of things. And I'd be like, oh, it's just a bit of fun. And then
it's a phase.
Yeah, it's just a phase. And then like, yeah. And then I remember having a conversation with my friend and she was like, would you ever have a relationship with a woman? And I was like, no, just like having sex with them. And then like a few weeks later I was like, fuck, I've got a girlfriend now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yes, and came out when I was like 23 or 24, I guess.
Okay.
So relatively old,
that's quite,
I guess,
yeah, that's
in
quite
terms
later.
of, hadn't had a couple of boyfriends before that and was like, this feels weird. Why is this not working?
It's almost like you just like, I've actually want to talk to someone about like this kind of thing because I've also had boyfriends in the past and it's like for me personally I'm still attracted to men, like I'm still attracted, but there was just no connection there. Like I just couldn't connect and that's why I didn't understand. For me I was just like, what the heck, like do I like girls, do I like men? Oh my gosh, I can like both. What the heck? You know?
And it was funny when I was at uni, I was like in my brain I think there was that like heteronormative thing of like, oh, you only like kissing the girls because the boys like it, you know, and it was like this like fetish, and then I'd always kind of orchestrate these like threesome activities and then afterwards I was like, well, it's just because you wanted to have sex with that girl.
Like,
he didn't need to be there.
Let's have a threesome. And then the guy's like, hi.
And I'm like, oh, sorry, could you just stand over there?
Oh, that's so funny. So do you have a partner at the moment over here?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Cute. And how are you finding it over in New Zealand compared to the UK with being queer?
To be honest, I wasn't out in the UK for very long before I moved.
Okay, yeah.
So only for like
Of course, sorry, you're only 27.
Yeah, 6 or 9 months. So so I don't know, like I didn't have any queer friends in the UK. But now here I was really like, no, I need basically no straight friends. I obviously have some straight friends, but I was like, I need this like queer group of humans around me, and it's great. I love it. It's wonderful.
Cool. That's so amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you must be very busy with your work.
Yeah.
Because like, how does that work being a midwife like that? Like, do you have to be on call 24/7? Because like the baby could come at any time.
Yeah, basically.
So where's your phone? Like, what happens if a baby's going to call
just
now?
Down there. It's all good. I mean, they're probably, it's fine. I haven't got anyone actually due until July, so.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I feel like if I was,
do
you know what? There was one time in my life where I actually was just like, man, I want to be a midwife. And then my papa's partner, she's one, and I was watching her studies, like her looking through her studies and stuff, and I was like, oh nah, that's that's hard. That's hard work. Like it's like doctor material.
Yeah, it was full on.
Yeah.
My degree was so like one of the hardest things I've ever done. But
But rewarding.
Being a midwife is amazing, and I love it.
Well,
so
you're doing such an amazing job. For anyone that is listening, in the LGBT community, because you only do that, right? You don't do any straight.
I occasionally take some straight humans, just to like top up the income, because I need to pay my bills and whatnot.
Of course.
So, but the thing is, I'm very. Obviously, my website and everything says that I only care for LGBT humans. So when those people contact me, they're like...
Priority almost? Or?
Yeah, absolutely priority. Yeah. But then when straight people contact me, and the ones that I have on my books at the moment, they've often messaged me with like, saw your profile and loved what you're doing for the community, super supportive, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you sound nice.
That's cool. As long as they're supporting it, then that's cool. Hey?
Yeah, and I
think there would be a lot of
so it's amazing.
Yeah, well, like I was going to say, if the people that are listening and they would love to use you as a midwife, because I've got friends that are gay at the moment that are having babies, and I mean, like if I have a baby in a couple years or whenever that time comes, I mean, even though you're 27, like it's crazy that you're 27, but I feel like even after meeting you for like 45 minutes, I would fully trust you, like delivering my baby. So
I appreciate that. That's nice.
That says something. So where can people find you?
So findyourmidwife.co.nz. My profile's on there, so when you're pregnant, you can get in touch with me via there, or my Instagram page. I have a website which is empower.nz. It's EMPWR, and then my Instagram is arlene.empower. My mobile number is on the internet, which is kind of weird, but you can text me.
I'll drop Arlene's handles and all that kind of stuff at the bottom, because I feel like there will be a lot of people listening that are going through this journey and just want it to be a safe journey as well.
A friend of mine, Lucy, and I, we're collaborating at the moment. We want to create well, they wanted it to be a zine, and I was like, shit, no, we need this to be like a real fancy coffee table hardback book of queer birth stories. So
Yes.
we are looking for people to like share and submit just their gorgeous queer, how did you get there? How did you make a family? What did you want to know if it was you 5 years ago? And we'll get some bougie photos. So yeah, also would love you to email me with those if you're listening and have any.
That's great. I've got a couple people that could already be in that book, so
amazing.
that's great. Hey,
Yeah.
the podcast, the book, the queer community is taking over.
Queer world domination.
Yes, one step at a time. But Arlene, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
through. I'll let
Thank
you
you
go
for
in
having
case
me.
babies are coming. Have a great day, all right?
Thank you.